Let's get your opinion on the best position groups on this 2019 roster so far for the Dallas Cowboys. First, we have the linebackers, which I think honestly might be the best group in the NFL. Anytime Sean Lee is the third best linebacker on your team, I have to say that that's pretty shocking. Through all this time of him being a Cowboy, he never really was anything less than number one, maybe number two, as far as linebackers on the team. Jalen Smith, man, he's a beast. I think what he brings to that core, to that group, is toughness, savviness. He's a leader, and he's not just vocal. He produces. And then the same thing with Van Der Esch, probably one of the best sideline linebackers in the NFL. That's just my opinion. And then they have the solid depth like Joe Thomas, and then people that's coming in and off the bench and giving those guys breaks. Next we have wide receivers. I think with the addition of Cooper and then the chemistry that's growing with Michael Gallup still, that's pretty solid as far as top two or tandem receivers in the NFL. I think that they're probably around maybe top 15 at this point, and then as long as the chemistry with Gallup and Prescott continues to improve, these guys can easily go into the top 10. Made some key additions through free agency and through the draft as far as bringing in talent. So I think it's pretty interesting to see how far they can go, because we all know the passing game is pretty much cut and dry. It doesn't have any wow factor to it, and a lot of that may have been just the play caller over the last couple of years. Questions. I'm interested to see if Tavon Austin actually makes this team, and if Cedric Wilson makes the team as well. I think he can pretty much shock a lot of people with his play during the camp and preseason, and I think he can be a solid addition to the team. Next we have the hot boys, the D-line. Oh man, I think with the addition of Robert Quinn and then taking care of Tank, it's probably easily, I think they can be top 5 as far as end rushers in the league, all depending on Robert Quinn. If he can, because he's going to get a lot of single coverage. He's not going to get too much double teams due to because Tank Lawrence was pretty much going to get double, I would say, almost every series. So it's interesting to see how the addition of Quinn, if that can help this team get more sacks, get more pressure on the quarterback, and because we seen what Jared Goff pretty much did, and Chris Anderson. I think Tristan Hill and Chris Covington, I think that they can balance out in the middle and pretty much be more of a stiff competition for the up the middle attack as far as running backs, because that's pretty much how they ran the ball down our throat all game, pretty much in the playoffs. So it's interesting to see how far we can get those guys playing up to speed and playing in a new system, and if they can pretty much solidify that front four. And then of course the offensive line. We all know that every year for the past maybe 4 or 5 years they've been cemented or placed as the best core group in the NFL. And they also made more additions. Of course, if you were to look at Travis Frederick being placed back into the fold, they also added McGovern and a guy from Clemson. Man, everyone is pretty much penciling him in as a person that can make the roster. So it's interesting to see how that plays out, because I know we'll probably carry maybe about 8 offensive linemen, 7 maybe. So a swing tackle is definitely important, and then just having somebody that can play the inside as well. We also have the running backs, which I believe it's all about potential, pretty much. Right now, We all know what Zeke can do, you know, and then Pollard and Guy Weber from Ohio State. They're rookies, man. So it's all about how fast they can transition from college to the NFL. And it shouldn't be that much of a hassle if your coach places you in correct situations to be successful. Sort of like how Cole Beasley throws shots, you know, at the Cowboys coaching staff. They didn't use him correctly. And also with Dez Bryant. He even called it out and said, you know, there's not too much motion. Where you start the plays, really, pretty much where you, you know, start your route. There's no motion. There's nothing, none of that. So it's interesting to see how Kellen Moore uses all these weapons on offense. So if I missed the position group that you think should have been considered, or if you feel as though linebackers aren't the best position group on their team, go ahead and comment, let me know your opinion, and we can go ahead and get that conversation started. I just pretty much want to get my ideas out there as far as who I would think might be considered, you know, the best group on the team.